A very good afternoon, Crossout, and good afternoon to our viewers at home. Just a few minutes ago, Crossout, Judge Thomas Ncube, who was called to hear this urgent application by the two AmaZulu princesses who had sought to interdict the ceremony, or the pre-coronation ceremony, which is taking place as we speak at KwaKhangela Mankengane Royal Palace in KwaNongoma. The judge there, after hearing arguments from the parties, has struck the matter off the roll, saying that it is not urgent. The matter that was brought by the two princesses, Griselda, you'll have to bear with me, as you know, we've just come out of court at the moment. The matter was brought by princesses Ntandoyenkosi and Ntombizosuthu Zulu-Duma of the Mthandayo Royal Palace, and these are the daughters of Queen Sibongile Zulu. You'd note yesterday that the Supreme Court of Appeal granted Queen Sibongile Zulu and her two daughters leave to appeal a earlier Pietermaritzburg High Court ruling that dismissed the Queen's application, in that the Queen, one would remember, had sought a claim of half of the late AmaZulu King Goodwill Zwelithini's estate, while the daughters had filed a separate application where they were challenging the validity of their father's will, arguing that it was forged. The Queen then decided to take that matter on review to the Supreme Court of Appeal. It has been quite complex, Griselda, I must say, in terms of all these court applications. I think a lot of people at this point are now a bit confused as to what has been going on. I'm going to try and break it down a little bit for our viewers. Of course, so as I said, you had that matter that is now before the Supreme Court of Appeal relating to the King's will, where the first Queen Sibongile Zulu, wanted half of the Queen's, I beg your pardon, of the late King's estate. You then had the matter that was brought, or the application that had been brought by the late King's daughters, Princess Ntandoyenkosi and Princess Ntombizosuthu, into a court where they wanted, or challenging their father's will, saying it was forged. Let us see if we could get Advocate Moirane. Could we steal a minute from you? All right. We were trying there to speak to Advocate Moirane, who is representing the president. Of course, he came in almost towards the end of the arguments, and I'll get into his points in a minute, Griselda. But as I was trying to explain here, was the fact that there is then these cases. So you have the Queen's case that is now, she has now been granted an appeal, leave to appeal by the Supreme Court of Appeal. You then had the princesses matter, where they are saying that their father's will was forged. That matter is yet to be heard by the Pietermaritzburg High Court. And then, of course, you have the matter, or the case that has been filed in the Gauteng High Court by Prince Mbonisi, who is also challenging the recognition of King Misuzulu kaZwelithini by President Cyril Ramaphosa. So those are the matters involving the royal family currently. So coming to what happened today, and this matter, Griselda, the princesses wanting to interdict and to get or request the court to halt the ceremony that is taking place, or the pre-coronation ceremony that is currently underway at the KwaKhangela Mankengane Royal Palace in KwaNongoma, as I've said. And they're saying that following the decision yesterday by the Supreme Court of Appeal granting them leave to appeal, they feel then that this pre-coronation ceremony should not have taken place and should be halted until the matter, which is now going to come before the Supreme Court of Appeal, has been dealt with. Of course, they still have, in the order that was issued by the Supreme Court of Appeal yesterday, they have until the 10th of September to file papers, or their formal application to the Supreme Court of Appeal on that matter. And so today they were saying or requesting the Pietermaritzburg High Court to issue this interdict, or to grant them this interdict to stop the pre-coronation ceremony that is taking place at KwaKhangela Mankengane. Of course, the respondents now in the matter, including Nkosi Mangosuthu Buthelezi, the President of South Africa, President Cyril Ramaphosa, including the other wives or the other queens of the late King, also then coming in as respondents in this matter. I must say, Criselda, that it emerged in court that not all the lawyers for the respondents were present in court, and this was the arguments, to sum up the arguments by the respondents, or the lawyers representing the respondents, saying that they did not have enough time to be able to respond. In fact, they said, and I'll just go through one of the lawyers representing the respondents, Ms. Palmer, saying to the court that they felt that this application, and to quote her, that it was an ambush. She in fact taking the court through the events that happened yesterday, saying that at around 6:30 yesterday evening, they had been informed that it was going to be this application that was going to be made by the princesses. They saying that their clients then requested that they be served with the papers, or at least get the papers by last night, so that they could have adequate time to prepare themselves for today. She then said that their instructing attorney waited until 3 a.m. this morning, and they did not receive the papers until around 7 a.m. this morning. And based on that, she is then said or told the court that they felt that this was an ambush, and they did not have ample time to prepare for this matter. She also then explained to the court that the matter before the Supreme Court of Appeal relates to the late King's will, and that it had nothing to do really with the events that are taking place in KwaNongoma. These were of course, similar arguments that were made by another lawyer representing three of the queens, who also asked the court to dismiss this application. They in fact had not even been prepared. They even apologized to the judge, saying that they did not even have affidavits or papers that had been prepared, and basically they were just working or for arguments that they were delivering based on notes that they had prepared, and based on that they said that they just did not have enough time to be able to respond adequately. Another important point that was raised by the respondents' representatives to the court, Criselda, was the fact that the applicants are saying that the president, of course, as we know, on the 16th of March, the president issued a gazette recognizing King Misuzulu, and thereafter, of course, they saying that on the 16th of this month, which was on Tuesday, they received, or their clients received an invitation to the coronation. Now, their argument was that why did the applicants wait 5 months before bringing a matter of this nature to the court? And also, let's say, right, if they felt that during the 5 months they couldn't then bring a matter of bring such an application to the court, they had from Tuesday, when their clients received an invitation to the pre-coronation ceremony, then they should have from Tuesday then submitted this application to the court. So based on all of that, and the fact that they had 2 times in which they should have approached the courts, they did not. They then requesting that the court dismiss this application that has been brought forward by the princesses. The Judge Thomas Ncube, in his judgment, saying that he's not going to deal with the matter at hand, but what he is going to speak to is he's going to deal with the urgency, and he then saying that deciding to strike the matter off the roll, saying that it wasn't urgent and that this is a matter that can still be ventilated by the courts. There are, of course, as I've mentioned, these other cases that are currently before various courts, and he's saying that the applicants should rather wait for those matters to be dealt with. Criselda?
And I guess this is somewhat good news for the ceremony which is currently underway. There seemed to have been some delays in terms of what was taking place. Perhaps we're not sure. Perhaps they were awaiting some sort of outcome from what is coming out of this court. But I mean, we're unlikely to see an end to the squabbles and perhaps even further legal challenges, judging by what we've seen happen over the past a couple of weeks coming out of the royal family, is it?
Yeah, Crossout, I take it that the delays at kwaKhangela Mankengane Royal Palace were as a result now of this urgent application that they probably felt to the members of the royal family that are responsible or dealing with that pre-coronation event would have wanted to wait for this court outcome. But in effect, Crossout, as you said, this now gives the green light for that pre-coronation ceremony to take place. And you are correct that this is by far not the end of these legal challenges and these battles between members of the royal families. I've said that we already have these other matters that are before the court. You now have the one or the two in the Supreme Court of Appeal, and then you have the princesses matter where they are challenging the validity of their father's will here in this court. And then you have Prince Mbonisi's application. Prince Mbonisi, of course, being the brother of the late king, as we know that he has also filed papers at a Gauteng High Court. So it's still going to be a long way ahead, Crossout, for the royal family, but certainly from what has happened here today, this now gives the green light for the pre-coronation event to continue at kwaKhangela Mankengane Royal Palace.